Okay, so everyone's favourite leaker is A again with another interesting point. And I think this one is, I don't know, it's an odd one. Obviously, by the title, you know what I'm going to say. And they've basically come out and said that Ada is not going to be in Requiem. And that's not all they said. So they also kind of followed that with, they said Ada and Chris aren't in the game. I think that's kind of where this one kind of slips up a little bit. Maybe, I don't know. I really don't try and get involved with like leak drama stuff. I'm just a news guy, right? I just talk about it. But like, this one's a weird one, so I kind of want to share some thoughts with everybody about this one. So obviously, the meat and potatoes of this, Ada not being in the game, and you know, at the end of the day, if she's not in it, that's fine, right? It's a game with Leon in it, so I think everyone was kind of expecting Ada to be in it, because you know every game he's in, she is also in too. The characters are very kind of entwined. Obviously, they have probably the biggest like relationship in the games, probably closely followed by Jill and Chris. But I think maybe more so, Leon and Ada have a bit more kind of, yeah, it's all very entangled. They kind of always cross paths, and it's always cool to see them, you know, on screen at the same time. Resident Evil 4 remake obviously had them both kind of return. Obviously it's a remake, but you know, having them in a new game again was really cool. So obviously the last canonical time that Ada appeared with Leon was 6, and now that Leon is obviously confirmed to be a main character in 9, people were kind of assuming that she'd be in the game, and now this leaker is saying that she is not. Obviously, I don't, you know, I'm not a leaker. I don't claim to be a leaker, nor do I know what the game is going to be like at launch. There's been clues said by the director about kind of Leon's relationships and, you know, where he is in life at the minute, and they've said they don't want to say anything. So I think at best, if she's not physically in the game, I think there's going to be mention, right? There's going to be a mention of Ada, I think, somewhere along the line. And who knows, maybe we'll get, you know, some DLC where she turns up if she's not in the main game. But, you know, that's kind of like the bulk of what people are kind of saying. This guy has said, you know, oh, he said that Ada ain't in the game, so she must not be in it. I really don't understand why people always take leakers' words as fact. So every time I make a video directly talking about leaks, I'm always like, you know, at the end of the day, this is stuff that someone online has said. It may not be the case at launch. Development changes, things change, and people lie on the internet. So you just don't really know, you know, for a fact that this stuff is true. So just wait until launch. But the one thing that was said in the same breath was that Chris wasn't going to be in it, and this is the part that kind of throws me a little bit with this whole statement. So before the leaker had mentioned that Chris wasn't going to be in it, we'd already knew that Chris wasn't going to be in it. Like multiple times they've said, you know, they've been asked directly about Chris, and they've said, you know, while it would be cool to bring him back in, he ain't in the game, he's doing something else, and he's not going to make an appearance in the game. You know, they've outright said no. The difference is with Leon is they never said no. They never ever said he wasn't going to be in it. They just said, you know, they tried to make a horror game with Leon, and it didn't work. But they didn't say he wasn't going to be in the game. You know, that's the whole point of the joke he makes at the start of the showcase, where he's laughing and saying, I never said he wasn't going to be in it. I just said we tried to make it scary with him, and it didn't work. So, dual protagonist, right? That's literally the whole thing. You know, they never outright said no to the fact that he was going to be in it. But with Chris, they did say no. And the fact that this guy's now saying that he's heard Chris ain't in it, like, you didn't hear that Chris weren't in it, you were told that he weren't in it. Like, everyone's been told he ain't going to be in it. And that's where, you know, that's where I kind of look at leaks and go, okay, so maybe they don't know everything that they're saying, because I feel like those things were said together because he doesn't even know if Ada isn't in it. Because if she ends up being in the game, he can at least say, oh, well, at least I was right about Chris. Like, no, you weren't right about Chris, because everyone knew that. So you don't get the win there. You don't get to take that credit, because they told us he weren't going to be in it already. And it boils my blood a little bit. Like, I don't get why people leak stuff, or even like make up stuff that they're kind of portraying as leaks, right? It's just weird to me. Now, obviously, I do cover the leaks on the channel, but obviously they're not from me. You know, I'm not just gonna log into the internet one day and say, guess what? Oh, Wesker's back in Resident Evil 9. that whole volcano bit was imagination. It never happened. He didn't die. Obviously, I'm not just going to jump on the internet and make up some bullshit. I'll talk about what people say, and I'll look at it in a kind of perspective of doubt, you know, but this specific statement really bothered me a little bit more than it usually does, because you're saying something that you are portraying as, I've heard this, like, don't tell anyone, but I've heard Chris ain't in this. Like, no, he didn't. You didn't. It just feels like he's trying to save face a little bit with that. But anyway, obviously circling back to the main topic with Ada, I think it would be cool if she made an appearance in the game. Doesn't have to be playable. Doesn't have to be a big kind of appearance in the game. Doesn't even have to physically appear in the game. But if we get some kind of mention of, you know, the character, and that she's still around, and maybe Leon is still in contact with her, or maybe they've actually kind of like shacked up at last. You're like, you don't know. We don't know. But, you know, this game's got so many things they keep a secret at the minute, and I really like that. You know, at first I was kind of iffy with the gameplay they'd shown and, you know, stuff like that. It didn't really feel like it was going to be like a Resident Evil game for me. I made videos talking about it like way back when the marketing started, saying it wasn't that good. But now we've seen more of it and it's fleshed out more. I'm fairly confident it's going to be a good game, but we still don't know half, probably even more than half, of what's going on in this one. Through the previews, which I haven't looked at, obviously I just read up stuff of what's been shown and what people have seen. I don't want to see any physical gameplay, so I'm kind of avoiding it, but I do know what's been shown, and Raccoon City is still a mystery to pretty much everyone at the minute. So who knows, maybe there'll be some surprises in there that people just didn't see coming. Will it be a different character? I'm assuming there's going to be a third character at least that we don't know about, and at the minute my money is kind of very much on Sherry, because of, you know, the voice in Leon's ear. It just sounds exactly like the actress for Sherry in 6. So that, I think, is the most likely scenario. I'm pretty much hoping for Jill. I doubt that, to be honest, but you never know. We don't know. No one knows. I think these people just kind of try, not every time. I think sometimes leakers get things right. Maybe it's luck. I don't know. Maybe they actually know things. Never once have I counted any kind of leaks from Village, because that game did in fact leak. Obviously there was a Capcom breach, and, you know, a lot of the game was out there. So I don't count any stuff from that, but, you know, I do think sometimes it's just saying things for the sake of it, and this one kind of just bugged me enough to make a video talking about it. But, you know, at the end of the day, whether Ada appears in it or not, I think we've got a good game on our hands, and, you know, I think there's some surprises coming that no one knows, and I'm looking forward to what they might be. But yeah, leave your thoughts on this kind of situation in the comments. Do you think Ada's going to be in it or not? Obviously, I want to hear what you guys think. You know, do you want to see her in the game or not? And yeah, it's been a bit of a weird one with a ramble, I guess. But you know, at this point, by the time this video is going up, we're within the month of launch, and it's not too long to wait now. So we'll get some answers soon enough. So thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.